Hi students, and welcome to today's live IELTS class. My name is Adrian and I'm streaming to you from beautiful Victoria here in Western Canada. I hope everybody has had a great week and I hope you're looking forward to an awesome weekend, everyone. Right now, we are doing an IELTS writing task 2. The topic is our connection with nature. This lesson, as usual, is presented to you by aehelp.com for academic IELTS. Check us out there. For the general IELTS, visit us at gieltshelp.com. These are the websites that power these live classes. They contain our materials and many, many tools to help you improve your English and communication. Welcome, Fuang. Hi, Lewis. Welcome, Carolina, our chat moderator. Nice to have you all with me here today. The chat is for YouTube members in this class. If you'd like to become a YouTube member, click the join button next to the subscribe button. Of course, everybody is welcome to watch. And after this class, we will have a subscribers chat class where our channel subscribers can chat for the reading class that's coming up in 2 hours. The websites look like this for aehelp.com. It's a blue background. You can click this big red button that's just above my head to join the premium version of our course. It's a one-time payment for lifetime access. We are an IDP affiliate, a British Council partner, and an IELTS test registration center. For the general IELTS, it looks like this, the green background. And again, you can click this big red button that's just above my head there. Again, it is a one-time payment for lifetime access. Students, we do have apps for you as well. The apps are Academic IELTS Help and General IELTS Help in your app stores, and they will link to the websites. Those of you who have premium access to our courseware on the website or the app, you have a premium Zoom classes now each week, 2 of them. I will be sending those Zoom links out later today, so within the next 24 hours you should see them. Premium students, if you do not see that email, then simply request the Zoom links from me via my email. And if anybody has questions, you can always email me, adrian@aehelp.com and admin@aehelp.com. We like questions, and you'll get your answers usually within 24 hours or less. Should never be more than 48 hours. If it is, you should contact us again. If anybody would like to check out those premium Zoom classes on YouTube that happened in the past, you can do it with this link. Here, this is a link to all those classes. All right, students, Instagram is IELTS_AEhelp, GIELTS Help. We have reels, vocabulary schedules for you there. And Shopify also has our courseware, youtube.com AEhelp store. You can also access the materials that way. All right, students, if you like editing videos and you're into cutting and transitioning and making videos that look great, you can send us your CV. We're always looking for video editors. Adrian@aehelp.com or admin@aehelp.com. All right, let's do this, everyone. So task 2 writing right now, and then we've got the reading next. And just a quick correction there. I said it's subscribers. It's actually for everyone, this reading. I didn't realize I said it that way, but that's great. That means you don't have to take that extra step, although it is a good idea to subscribe. Thank you, Carolina, for sharing the discount code that also works on Shopify. Yes, visit 9 will get you a 10% discount on the websites and on Shopify. All right, students, on this Sunday for the premium class, that class is going to be pushed to Tuesday, so take note of that, okay? Let's do this. So let's get into task 2 writing. Everyone, you're in your IELTS exam. The sitting part of the test takes about 2 hours and 50 minutes. The last 1 hour is the writing. You spend 20 minutes on task 1, and then you spend 40 minutes on task 2. Make sure that you spend the whole 40 minutes on task 2. It's very important. It's worth 2/3 of your mark. You have to follow. So, I think a lot of candidates think that task 2 is kind of a mystery, but it's really not. However, you do have to have a basic understanding of essay writing rules. So let me do it this way. So task 2 is a persuasive essay written in the first or third person voice, depending on the question. It includes 4 to 5 paragraphs, which are introduction, body 1, body 2, maybe a body 3, usually not. Okay, if you're really good and there's a really good reason to have a third body paragraph, then maybe a body paragraph 3, and a conclusion. Okay, it follows standard essay rules and structure. In literature, okay? It should not be a template. Template essays get lower scores. For example, if you simply paraphrase the question for your introduction and state that the essay will discuss the points, that is considered a low-grade essay. Okay, so that's what you have to keep in mind. Again, it's not overly complicated as long as you know what you're doing. So we'll get into that right now, everybody, and we will go through this together. We'll write the essay together, and we'll get a clear understanding of what you need to do step by step. Okay. All right. So first step, of course, is to read the question carefully so that we can get a good understanding of what we are doing. Okay, so let's do that. IELTS task 2 writing, you should spend about 40 minutes on this task. Many people feel that humans have lost their connection with nature. Individuals lack knowledge about forests, oceans, and lands that surround them. What do you think has led to this disconnection to the environment? Why is this negative, and what can be done to reconnect people with nature? Use examples and explanations from your own experience. Okay. So step 1 is to read the question carefully and paraphrase it to get deep understanding and some useful vocabulary. Okay, so that is our very, very first step. We just read the question. Now we paraphrase it, and you can use the paraphrasing in your essay in certain places. It's not necessarily your introduction. It could be as late as your conclusion, okay? But it's definitely a good idea to paraphrase because often students will think that they understand the question, but until they paraphrase it, they don't really understand the question. And then when they paraphrase it, they go, oh, that's what it's asking me. Oh, okay. I almost wrote a different essay. So you have to be really careful. It's actually a really good tip for university. So I know many of you are going for university. So tip for university, when you get an essay question, like a term essay question in Western schools, term essay papers are very, very common. Are they also common in other parts of the world? So Louis, like in China, or Phuong in Vietnam, do you have term essay papers in school where you have to write like a couple of big essays on some topics within your semester? So a tip for university is when you get your term essay question, Phuong says yes. Okay, good. Paraphrase it and show your professor. Ask them whether or not you have paraphrased the question accurately. Okay, so this is a good tip for university. A lot of university students just think they understand the essay question, and then they write the essay and the professor's like, well, you didn't really understand it clearly. So if you paraphrase and then show your, or I should say when you paraphrase and show your professor, and then the professor goes, well, there's a couple points that you're missing, then you go, oh, okay, good thing I didn't start that essay just yet. So it's a good idea to plan. A little bit of planning goes a long way. Lois says, yep. Anahita says, hi, guys. Yeah, a research paper too. Same idea, Louis, with the research paper. You want to paraphrase and make sure that you have the right idea for the research. Okay. All right, so let's paraphrase this question. Again, read it one more time when you are at home practicing, like what you're doing right now. There's no need to rush. You can look at it again and go over it. Let's do that. So many people feel that humans have lost their connection with nature. Individuals lack knowledge about the forests, oceans, and lands that surround them. What do you think has led to this disconnection to the environment? Why is this negative, and what can be done to reconnect people with nature? Use examples and explanations from your own experience. Okay, so let me start my paraphrasing. You do the same. Let's just go sentence by sentence, word by word. We'll figure it out. Frequently, people express that humanity has become disconnected with the environment. Meaning that they lack understanding of flora, fauna, and geography. Why has this disconnect with nature happened? Why is this a deficit, and how can people gain a deeper relationship with nature? Okay, so this is my paraphrase here, and whenever you paraphrase, you can read the whenever you paraphrase at home, read the original and then read your paraphrasing, okay? There we go. And make sure that it's accurate, okay? I'm doing that right now. That's why I was a little bit broken up. Okay, so this is my paraphrase. I feel like I have some good vocabulary here. Like I came up with the concept of flora and fauna instead of forests. Geography is the way that I paraphrased oceans and lands. Okay. Instead of saying lost the connection, I realized that the antonym of connect is to disconnect. So just some nice vocabulary there. All right, Fuang, you have some nice writing here. Let's check out what Fuang has. So Fuang writes, a lot of individuals suppose that disconnection from flora and fauna of humans have happened. Yeah, Fuang, you've got really good ideas. You just have to reshape your sentences to be more grammatically accurate and more natural, but you're very close, Fuang. So a lot of individuals suppose that humans have disconnected from flora and fauna. And do not engage enough in their instead of comprehension, I would use the word education. In their education about trees, water, and sand. I'm not sure if I would do sand for lands, but yeah, okay. So education about trees and geography. And that's enough. That are the surroundings. So we don't really need to paraphrase that part. That's understood. What do you think are the roots? Let's see the rest of it. I see the rest of it in the chat, Fuang, so I'm going to keep going here and just finish it for you. What do you think about the root causes? What do you think are the root causes that have resulted in this detachment? Yeah, nice paraphrasing there. Of humans from their habitats. Why is this pessimistic? I don't think it's the right word here, pessimistic, Fuang. Why is this detrimental? And what solutions can be suggested to reattach people with nature? Okay, so Fuang, now you've got a more or less accurate paraphrase. It's good. Lewis has this paraphrase for us. The situation that individuals have lost touch. That's a nice paraphrase. Losing touch with nature. Absolutely. The situation that individuals have lost touch with nature has been expressed by many people. Instead of situation, I would almost say fact. The fact that individuals have lost touch with nature has been expressed by many people. Or instead of fact, you could even go with concern. Lewis, I think, is maybe an even better word. The concern that individuals have lost touch with nature has been expressed by many people. Nice changing of the grammar, so you kind of rotated the sentence. Everybody notices that Lewis kind of flipped the sentence, which is one of the interesting parts of English, and that's really good. The understanding of flora and fauna as well as geographical features are fading in the general population. It means in kind of common knowledge. All right, Lois, now the second part here, it seems like you're kind of writing the essay more than paraphrasing the question. So Lois continues this, and Lois writes, While this can be attributed to rapid urbanization, where people have less access to nature, fast advancement of technology, also making people lead sedentary lifestyles, meaning that people will... Okay, so here, Lois, your brain is kind of racing ahead and you're actually answering some of this question. It's not really there, right? So let's be careful with that, Lewis. First, just paraphrase the question, right? And then we identify the topic and the controlling idea. So here, after we read this, a very important second step, everybody, is to clearly identify the topic, okay? So step 2 is clearly identify the topic and controlling ideas, okay? It's very important. That decides how you will write your essay. Okay, so what is the topic here? I should have left that equal sign in there. What is the topic? What are we writing about? Anahita has a good question. Anahita says, is it okay to write a passive voice in one of the sentences in task 2, or does it lower the score? Anahita, passive or active, it doesn't matter. It depends what you are saying. So it depends on the information. The information decides the grammar that you need to use in your writing. It is not a set expectation. The rule of thumb in academic writing is that most of your sentences should be in active voice, because the author needs to focus on attributing action to the agent. Okay? Passive voice is used when the agent of the action is either unknown or unimportant. Okay, keep that in mind, Anita. If we don't know the agent of the action, or we don't want to give importance to the agent of the action, then we can use the passive voice or the passive grammar. Okay? That's the right answer. But you do need to understand passive and active and other types of grammar. They are looking at your grammar range in your writing as well. And certainly good essays will tend to use various forms of grammar because the information requires these. Okay? All right. Okay, so the topic is disconnection from nature. That's right, Fuang. That's right, Anahita. Welcome, Juan. We're just into task 2 here. If you missed the question at the beginning, the question is in the video description as well. And for those students who are watching and enjoying this lesson, our course at aehelp.com, when you go to your My Student account and you check out all the materials that are there, in your full online course in the writing section, when you go to your task 2, it will teach you the standard structure of essay writing in university. Now, in the IELTS, you don't need the title. That's not important. But you definitely need to have this kind of introductory paragraph with a hook, a background, and a thesis, okay, which flows into the body paragraph 1 and body paragraph 2, and then the conclusion is just below there. So make sure, premium students, that you're going through these parts of the course to get a clear understanding of the expectations for standard English essays. Okay, for those of you who are watching and are new to the IELTS, be very careful about videos on YouTube that try to give you tips or templates for essay writing that are sentence by sentence. That's not how it works. The essay needs to be original. It needs to be your thoughts, your thinking. You can't just simply copy sentences from videos. Okay. All right. So welcome, Ghazi. So the topic here is disconnection from nature, and the controlling ideas here, there are a few of them. So we've got a few. What are the controlling ideas for this question? So basically, what do we want to know about the disconnection from nature, or humans' disconnection from nature, if we want to be very specific? Humans' disconnection from nature. So what do we want to know about this? Lewis almost. So Lewis says the causes, and Lewis says the solutions. Okay. And then there's a bit of a missing piece here. So causes something, solutions. Yes, that's right, Fuang. Let's not forget the consequences. Okay, so it's causes, consequences, and solutions. Okay, so the topic here is humans' disconnection from nature. Now we quickly go through the steps of what, why, how. It's critical thinking. So step 3 is think critically about the topic and the controlling ideas. Okay, so we want to ask the what, why, how questions. Again, in your course, everybody, when you're going through your courseware, in the key strategies, make sure to carefully go through all of the slides, like the explanation for why do we need to think critically. The IELTS is not just an English test. It is not an English as a foreign language exam. It is a proficiency exam. If you're doing the academic version, it is testing your academic thinking as well. So you need to understand these concepts, okay? And you'll find these in your course. The reason that we think critically is to comprehend information accurately. The way that we think about it is we can think about the whole and then think about the pieces, right? So we think about humans' disconnection from nature, and then we think about the pieces of why this has happened. And Lois, you've already given us some ideas for that. So Lois, in the paraphrasing, this is where you actually answered a little bit of this. So Lewis says that it can be attributed to urbanization. Urbanization means people living in cities, okay, where people have less access to nature. Fast advancement of technology making people live sedentary lifestyles. Yes. Okay. So going back to our critical thinking, let me just actually move this. Beyond here. Okay, so again, step 2, we identified the topic, controlling ideas, and now we're thinking critically about them. Okay, so what is the human disconnection from nature? It means people have little knowledge of the environment and the ecosystems that they are a part of. Okay. And then the next question is, why has this happened, right? This is the reasons. And this is where Lewis says it is rapid urbanization, more sedentary lifestyle, and that's partly due to technology, right? And also, I would say an indoor lifestyle. The reason I say that is because we could be sitting outside, and if we sat outside as much as we sit inside, we would probably understand nature a lot more, right, Lewis? So sedentary, everybody, means that we're not moving much, right? Sedentary lifestyle. So as opposed to a lifestyle where we move around a lot. Sedentary means not moving. But it's not just that we're not moving, it's that we're staying indoors and not moving. If you sit on a park bench long enough, you will see a lot of nature, right? The issue is that we're indoors. We're indoors a lot more than outdoors, right? Okay. So there's a rapid urbanization, which means city life, okay? More sedentary lifestyle, technology, and an indoor lifestyle, right? Okay, the how question, so how is this happening? You need to think of a specific example, okay? So, more people live in New York, Tokyo, or Beijing. Okay, sit in front of computers and do not go to a nearby park, yet alone a forest, shall we say. Okay, so we've kind of got our heads around it. We're starting to visualize it, right? We're starting to see this. It's very good. Again, for the IELTS, you don't need to overthink it. It is essentially not a university essay, so you don't have to get too fancy with your thinking. And then you want to ask the questions about the controlling ideas as well, right? Oftentimes they will overlap. So when you're thinking about the topics, so humans disconnecting from nature, it will overlap with some of these controlling ideas like causes. We just talked about that with the why has this happened, rapid urbanization. Okay. Now, we need to focus on the consequences and the solutions. So what do you think are the consequences? What are the consequences of people disconnecting from nature? Okay. Fuang, I don't think so. So Fuang's asking, may we relate natural disasters like droughts, floods, volcanoes? I don't think so, Fuang. I think what you're maybe saying is that people have a fear of nature. And you could, for some reason, that I think fear of nature also comes from a lack of knowledge of nature. But it could be that people have developed a fear of nature. And that could be in part due to natural disasters, yeah. Okay, so what are the consequences of people disconnecting from nature? Anahita says a decreased mental and physical health. Yes. Ghazi is saying that could be the same as saying increased stress. Yes. Lois says environmental impact, so abuse of nature, right? So cutting down trees or deforestation, right? Because we lack respect for nature. Okay. Now, one interesting one, if we're really thinking critically and in clever ways, loss of knowledge. So humans tend to forget that a lot of our ideas come from nature, right? Too bad Domenico's not here. He would love to talk to us about that, I'm sure, and how many of our ideas and how much science comes from an understanding of nature. Just think about physics, chemistry. I'm sure Anahita will agree here as well. But I know everybody will, but those scientists who look at biology, physics, chemistry will tell you that most of science evolves from nature. Okay. All right, and how can people be reconnected to nature? What do you think? What would be your suggestion? This is a good it's a good thought to continue on. So what would be, how do we get people reconnected? So if you were in charge of the world, we just elected you first world president Ghazi, and Ghazi says, well, as president of the world, one of my first goals is to reconnect humanity with nature. What will you do? Lois, President Lois, President Phuong, what will you do? Phuong says interacting with nature by planting trees. Okay, so what do you mean by interacting with nature? How do you get people to interact with nature, Phuong? How can we do that? So have people plant trees? Sure. Okay. What else? Carolina, I would love to hear your thoughts on this too. And I think this is actually a very important issue globally. Remember, IELTS asks global questions. Okay. For the writing and speaking sections. So these are questions that all humans should be thinking about. Okay. Phuong says not hunting wild animals. Carolina's probably having a good laugh. I hunt. Phuong, I hunt. Hunting wild animals. Yeah, it's an interesting one. We could digress into that one. Hunting wild animals actually connects you with nature, believe it or not. A lot of people don't understand that. Poaching or illegal hunting, yeah, that's terrible. But resource management, it's called, hunting, could actually reconnect people with nature. So that's an interesting one. Maybe I'll do a task 2 question on hunting one of these days. Okay, green agriculture by decreasing pesticides. Okay, I think this is a good question because I'm seeing a little bit of a lack of knowledge here, everyone. Funding for upgrading park facilities, not park bench and flowers, but also some socializing workshops. How about this, everybody? So how about concepts like this? Visualize, right? So have people plant trees. How about this? Make nature a part of the public education system. Regular weekly field trips and outdoor learning. Okay, why not have outdoor classrooms? Okay. I definitely think that our schools have become way too indoorsy. It means everything has to be done indoors. Since when, right? Classrooms should be outdoors. They shouldn't be limited to indoors. So we should incorporate nature into our education system much, much more. Start it at an early age, right? Exactly, Lois. Start from childhood, from early childhood, right? Encourage urban gardens. Decrease property tax for people who have a garden in their home, right? That's what I would do. If you elect me president of the world, these would be the changes that I would make. Reducing carbon emissions, Lois, not so much directly related to nature necessarily, because it doesn't reconnect people with nature, right? So there has to be some kind of hands-on experience with nature. You know, Lewis, if you asked a lot of people why we have to reduce carbon emissions, they would tell you that it's so that there's less pollution and people can breathe better. A lot of people would not actually make that connection that the reason we need to reduce carbon emissions is to save forests, trees, plants, right? So it's more this hands-on experience, right? Okay, so now we've thought a lot about this, and I realize, everyone, that in the IELTS you only have 40 minutes to plan and write the whole essay. So, of course, in the real IELTS, this is happening much faster. This is very condensed. You're doing all of this interpretation and planning within 5 minutes at most, and you're spending about 32 minutes on the writing and then another 3 minutes reviewing. So in the real test, all of this planning must happen in 5 minutes, and you can do that with good practice before the test. Okay, 5 minutes, then about 32 minutes writing the essay and another 3 minutes reviewing. Okay, that's about how it goes. Okay, Ghazi says, join the Green Party. I'm not sure if that alone is enough, Ghazi. It sounds like it's a plan, but it might not be, right? Okay, so let's write the essay with the introduction starting. Now again, the introduction is the hook plus the background plus the thesis. Okay. So the hook is a simple, let's say 8 to 12 word fact that introduces the topic and captures the reader's attention. Okay, that's what the hook is. So here, the topic obviously is humans' disconnection from nature. Give me the hook, everybody. So all you need to do in the chat is just write H : and then whatever you think the hook is, and we can look at it. I will do the same. We'll move through the essay together, and we'll write a Band 9 response to this question. While you're thinking about your hook, everybody, I'll just review the original question. You should always review the original question before you put your pen to paper. And then this will also give a chance for newcomers to understand where we're at. So we're doing a task 2 writing question. It looks like this. You should spend about 40 minutes on this task. Many people feel that humans have lost their connection with nature. Individuals lack knowledge about the forests, oceans, and lands that surround them. What do you think has led to this disconnection to the environment? Why is this negative, and what can be done to reconnect people with nature? Use examples and explanations from your own experience. Okay, interesting fact. Billions of people have not been to a forest in the last month. How about that for an interesting fact? It's arguable, right? We can imagine that out of the 8 billion people on Earth, there are probably a couple billion that have not been to a forest in the last month. That's probably a pretty good statement to emphasize that humans have lost their connection to nature. Just imagine, billions of people have not actually gone to a forest in the last month. Right? That's kind of a shocking visual scenario. Anahita saying, is it okay to not directly use the topic in hooks? Yes, Anahita, it is. In this case, I'm not saying people have lost their disconnection to nature directly, but it's quite synonymous. So notice, Anahita, that this is very synonymous with people are disconnected from nature, right? Billions of people have not been to a forest in the last month, right? Dare I say in the last year. Okay. You might consider it and go, oh, Adrian, you're being ambitious. I would even say in the last year. Okay. Ghazi says, disconnecting with nature is impacting our 5 senses. Ghazi, that is a consequence, and that's a little bit early. That's a little bit like, huh? Where's Ghazi going with this, right? Anahita says, this seems like an example. It's not really, though, Anahita. It's more of a fact than an example, right? An example would be like, I have not been to a forest since June. That would be more of an example. But this could be a hook. Billions of people have not been to a forest in the last year. So this works as a hook. It's basically saying humans have become disconnected with nature, right? Okay. All right. Lewis, that hook looks really long. I just saw it. This is the hook from Lewis. Let's take a look at a couple. So Lewis says, it has been hotly discussed that many individuals nowadays have severed connections with nature, with reduced knowledge of flora and fauna as well as geographical features around them. Way too much, Lewis. Way too much. Okay. You don't need all of this. Unnecessary. Okay. In university, be careful, Lewis. Your examiner or your professor or the marker will be like, no. Many individuals, you don't need nowadays even, it's understood, have severed connections with nature. And I would just take that out. This I would leave for the background, Lewis. So I would keep it this simple. And I think the fact that you used severed connections with nature, this is impactful. It's impactful language. So this actually makes it a good hook. Okay? Many individuals have severed connections with nature. That's impactful. It's like they cut their connections to nature. And it's like, ooh, where's Lewis going with this? So, Lewis, this is enough for a good hook. Many individuals have severed connections with nature. Okay? Everybody with me? So that's good enough. Anahita says, even in rural areas, people are disconnected from nature. I'm not sure, Anahita. I think it's a bit too specific. So the rural areas here for me is a bit awkward. And it's debatable. So my reaction as the reader... here's a good way to analyze the effectiveness of your hook. Okay, so here's a good way to analyze the effectiveness of the hook. Think of the reader's reaction. And we can even go with a single reader here. Reader's reaction. Okay. So, students, viewers, I see there's a good number of us. The examiner will have a reaction, okay? They're human, so they will have a reaction, even when they're reading lots of essays. So, yeah, Lewis says the examiner might just skip it. So, Lewis, I'll show you my reaction. And just because it's my reaction, don't take it the wrong way. This is just like, if I don't know you, Lewis, if I don't know you, Anahita, and I'm just reading your essay randomly, I picked it up and I'm reading it. This would be my reaction, okay? And then I'll show you what I think the reaction is to mine, but maybe you'll disagree with me. Maybe you'll say, Adrian, that's not my reaction. Of course, we're all different, but I'll show you what my reactions would be. Now, a bit exaggerated, but you'll get the idea. So with Lewis, it goes like this. It has been hotly discussed that many individuals nowadays have severed connections with nature with reduced knowledge of flora and fauna as well as geographical features around them. Then I'd be like, as the reaction as I read this, I'd be like, what? That would be my reaction. What? It's like I'm trying to swim to the surface to figure out what's going on. Why am I drowning in all these words? Okay. And then Anahita, with your hook, my reaction would be something like this. Even in rural areas, people are disconnected from nature. Really? Are you sure about that? That would be my reaction to that hook for this. Okay, this one here, mine. Billions of people have not been to a forest in the last year. My reaction would be like, "Whoa, really? Maybe that's true. Let's find out." Okay, so that would be my reaction to that hook. Okay, now different people, right? Somebody else might say my reaction to that is, who cares? Well, okay, who cares? But my reaction to this one would be like this, right? So you can't think about everybody's reaction, but you have to be happy with your reaction. Okay, so Lois, if you're happy after you read this hook and you go, I have a good reaction to that and I'm happy with it, go with it, but do check with other people. Anahita, if you're happy with this and you think it creates a good reaction for you, then go with it, but again, maybe check with other people. Okay, because there will be a reaction from the examiner as well. Does that make sense, everyone? Lois says, got you. Okay, so check that reaction. How do you react to the hook, right? Okay. Looks like everybody's on board. That's good. All right. So let's write the background. Okay, the background is a simple definition of terms. So here we're defining for our reader what it means to lose connection to nature and the importance of the topic. Okay, so the background, definition of key terms and concepts, and importance of the question. Now, if some of our viewers now or in the future are watching this video and they go, wow, this is way too much, who cares, I'm just going to write a template, I'll just paraphrase the question and say, this essay will discuss the reasons, the consequences, and solutions to losing connection with nature, then keep in mind that when you get to university or in your professional life, that kind of writing will be completely unacceptable. So I highly recommend learning the correct way when you're doing your IELTS studies, getting a good score on the IELTS, and continuing to get good scores in university or doing good work in your profession. Okay, there's absolutely no reason to learn frankly said, garbage methods of writing essays. Okay. Yeah, Anahita, I would say that's off topic or way too much detail. You're expecting way too much from your reader in advance, okay? All right, so the background, just write a B colon like that, okay? And then write the background. What's the definition? Most people have very little knowledge of the living world or of flora and fauna. We can use some of our paraphrasing vocabulary here. Very little knowledge of flora and fauna. Understanding the behaviors and importance of plants and animals. And this has both negative implications for present and future generations. Okay, it's a little bit wordy. I'm going to try to shorten this up a little bit. If you spend any extra time in any part of your essay, it should always be in your introduction. A good start leads to good band scores in the IELTS. I would say that, you know, if you're going to spend a bit of extra time on any paragraph, the introduction is where you want to spend that extra time. Okay, so most people have little knowledge. We can take out the very. Have little knowledge of the behaviors and importance of flora and fauna. Resulting in negative implications for present and future generations. Much more concise, much nicer to read. All of the extra words are taken out. So that's my background. And now comes my thesis. So again, students, I don't want to race ahead of you. Write your background and write your thesis as well. The thesis is basically the points that you will discuss in your essay. In parallel grammar and structure. Okay, so that's your thesis. So here the thesis is causes, consequences, and solutions. Okay. And we could do a 3-body paragraph essay here, just 3 smaller, clear body paragraphs. We can do that today. Okay. So the thesis here, just put a T and then colon. Okay. The primary reasons for disconnecting with nature are urbanization and technology, which result in poor mental and physical health. Now remember that this is an IELTS essay, so obviously this topic is big. You could basically write a whole book about the reasons humans have become disconnected with nature. Actually, I'm sure there are books on this topic. But here you have to focus, and you have to be really careful. Like, you might even take out mental health and just focus on physical health, right? Result in poor mental and physical health. But this can be remedied with better education. Okay, so that's my thesis. Now I'm going to read my full introductory paragraph as one, just to make sure that it makes sense. So billions of people have not been to a forest in the last year. Most individuals, just because I've used people, this is where I can paraphrase, have little knowledge of the behaviors and importance of flora and fauna, resulting in negative implications for present and future generations. The primary reason for disconnecting with nature are urbanization and technology, which result in poor mental and physical health, but this can be remedied with better education. Better education systems. Okay. So here I have body paragraph 1. Body paragraph 2. And then body paragraph 3. Okay, let's choose a different color for that. Let's go. Yeah, okay. All right, so there are my 1, 2, 3 body paragraphs, and you could have a 5-paragraph task 2, okay? So for this question, I might go this direction. It makes sense to me, all right? Lois says, most people have meager familiarity with flora and fauna, causing numerous repercussions in the long run. The root triggers include rapid urbanization and technological advancement. To mitigate this negative impact, there has to be solutions from governments and individuals. That's your thesis, Lewis, not your hook. I think that was just a typo that you wrote the H. It should be a T. Okay, Anahita says the root causes of disconnection with nature are urbanization and an indoor sedentary lifestyle. This is detrimental because it leads to mental and physical health. However, this issue can be tackled by education. Nice, Anahita. Worded a little bit differently. You just wrote a simple sentence for each of the body paragraphs, and I think that's great. No, Anahita, it doesn't have to be a wordy essay, and I'm going to show you that right now. So here, body paragraph 1 is urbanization and technology. Okay, so Billions of people. And I'm starting it purposefully the same way as my introduction. Billions of people have moved to cities over the last century and now spend their days indoors sitting in front of computers. Okay, so that's basically the deeper definition of urbanization and technology. Okay, or instead of in front of computers, because it's not always computers, sometimes it's the TV, in front of screens. Right? So, relatively simple. Okay. Therefore, people do not spend several hours each day hiking, fishing, and other activities that lead to learning about plants and animals. Okay. So these are the causes. I'm just giving more of a visual. One research study claimed that over half of children in schools believe that milk and vegetables come from grocery stores. Okay, it's actually a true fact in the US. Okay. Okay, so quite a nice paragraph here, and relatively short. It's not too wordy. So, Anahita, when you're writing 3 body paragraphs, you do have to pay attention in the IELTS that you're writing relatively short body paragraphs. Okay, so topic, sentence, explanation, example, next paragraph. Okay, so billions of people have moved to cities over the last century and now spend their days indoors sitting in front of screens. Therefore, people do not spend hours each day, you can even take that out, hiking, fishing, and other activities that lead to learning about plants and animals. One research study in the US claimed that over half of children 12 and under believe, you don't even need schools, believe that milk and vegetables come from grocery stores. So there you go. Hi, Domenico. We missed it. It's a good topic for you. Good time to chime in. Lois, as long as the data is believable, it's okay. And in fact, this is kind of real data here. It's well known. It's one of the data that's leading people to pay more attention to this topic. So it's fine. And this body paragraph, Anahita, just if you're curious, is 68 words. Okay, so even if you have 3 of these, you're only at about 210 words. Okay, which means that with your introduction and your conclusion, you're going to be at about 320 words, which is perfect. Okay. All right, so we can jump right into body paragraph 2. These are, again, just quick, simple paragraphs. Okay, so mental and physical health. Okay. So the consequences of sedentary urban lifestyles has led to a pandemic of mental and physical health issues, like depression and obesity. Indeed, past generations who spent their days in nature, moving around and enjoying the tranquility of serene landscapes, had less ailments. Okay. All right. So again, topic sentence. Okay. And then explanation. Okay. And I see Ghazi and Fuang, you're writing as well. So Ghazi says there are multiple reasons behind people's longer disconnection. Okay, let me try that one more time. There are multiple reasons behind that people no longer disconnect to nature because of lack of knowledge due to urbanization and advanced tech. I think you meant to say people no longer connect to nature, not disconnect, Ghazi, but connect to nature. Okay, Fuang, thesis. I strongly believe that people in today's world have continually degraded the environment with pollution from chemicals, resulting in both physical and mental education. However, these issues. Okay, not bad, Fuang. I think you need a little work on it. Okay. All right. So now the example, right? Okay. And I'm going to stick with the US. More than half of Americans are now considered obese, and over a quarter are prescribed antidepressants. Okay. So again, just a couple of facts that support this notion. Okay. Read the paragraph. The consequence of sedentary indoor urban lifestyles have led to a pandemic of mental and physical health issues like depression and obesity. Indeed, past generations who spent their days in nature, moving around and enjoying the tranquility of serene landscapes, had less such ailments. More than half of Americans are now considered obese, and over a quarter are prescribed antidepressants. Okay, body paragraph 3. Solution is education. Okay, so we have our topic sentence. And again, here I'm going for simple sentences, right? Domenico, great. I see Domenico's writing his background there. And Domenico, you basically wrote the same background that we wrote. So you're on the right track for sure. Absolutely. Okay. Okay, so solution. Nevertheless, humans can regain their lost relationship with their natural surroundings through public education starting from a young age. Okay? So nevertheless, humans can regain their lost relationship with their natural surroundings through public education starting from a young age. The immediate solution that needs implementation is to have at least one outdoor class each week for every student that focuses on botany, biology, and geography with hands-on experience. Okay? And then might as well just continue with the example out of the US. One really good way to have good flow and coherence in your task 2 essays, everybody, is to try to use the same or connected examples at the end of body paragraphs. So here I'm saying that one research study in the US claimed, right? And then here in the next body paragraph, I'm saying more than half of Americans. Okay, so I might as well do this, and it is actually kind of true. In the last decade, hundreds of American elementary schools now have weekly nature classes for this purpose, and they seem to be working well. Okay, so that's it, and you don't need to go into more detail, and it's true. It is actually true that teachers are taking their kids outside more and teaching outside and looking at the trees and the birds and saying, hey, this is what's happening around you. So this is actually this kind of reform or this change is happening in many parts. Okay, and then now comes the conclusion. The conclusion has the points restated, arguments strengthened, and a take-home message. Okay, so what are my points here in the essay? I'm basically saying that people have lost connection because of technology and urbanization. This is bad for our physical and mental well-being. And the solution is in education. So I need to restate these points in a simple way. I want to be even more concise. So the conclusion is the most concise part of an essay. Okay. So here I'm going to start with a complex sentence. Complex sentences, students are often, when they're used well, will make the information more concise. Okay, keep this in mind. This is an interesting tip, and I haven't digressed into this topic, but this is really really good to keep in mind. Okay, so complex sentences, that have a dependent and independent clause, when used effectively, are concise. When used ineffectively, are wordy. Okay, so they kind of go both ways. When students are using complex sentences without good reason or without good purpose, they tend to make the writing wordy, but when they use them effectively with a good strategy, then they make the writing more concise. Does that make sense, everybody, about complex sentences? So complex sentences is basically when you take multiple simple sentences and you push them together into a complex sentence. The idea is to make the information concise, but when that's not done correctly, then you have a lot of information that's just making a complex sentence unnecessarily. Okay, I hope that makes sense. It's a really important point. Okay, so you'll see it with what I'm doing here. So although the root or the roots of disconnecting with nature are city life, leading to health issues, solutions lie, or solutions are available in public education. Okay, so this is a complex sentence without doubt. And it's very concise, right? So although the roots of disconnecting with nature are city life, leading to health issues, solutions are available in public health. Communities must consider standardizing students' regular interactions with their natural surroundings. Okay, and then the take-home message. Ultimately, this leads to a utopian society. Okay, so something like this. Although the roots of disconnecting with nature are city life, although the causes of disconnecting with nature are city life, leading to health issues, solutions are available in public education. Communities must consider standardizing students' regular interactions with their natural surroundings. Ultimately, this leads to a global utopian society. Okay, and then Anahita, just for fun, let's check. Okay, because I understand your concern that if you have 3 body paragraphs, then it might be very wordy, but not necessarily. Okay, so the word count here is 308. And it's a band 8 to band 9. Okay, so take a look. Okay, let's read the whole essay. Billions of people have not been to a forest in the last year. Most individuals have little knowledge of the behaviors and importance of flora and fauna, resulting in negative implications for present and future generations. The primary reasons for disconnecting with nature are urbanization and technology, which result in poor mental and physical health, but this can be remedied with better education systems. Billions of people have moved to cities over the last century and now spend their days indoors sitting in front of screens. Therefore, people do not spend hours each day hiking, fishing, and other activities that lead to learning about plants and animals. One research study in the US claimed that over half of children 12 and under believe that milk and vegetables come from grocery stores. The consequences of sedentary indoor-urban lifestyles have led to a pandemic of mental and physical health issues like depression and obesity. Indeed, past generations who spent their days in nature moving around and enjoying the tranquility of serene landscapes had less such ailments. More than half of Americans are now considered obese, and over a quarter are prescribed antidepressants. Nevertheless, humans can regain their lost relationship with their natural surroundings through public education starting from a young age. The immediate solution is to have at least one outdoor class each week for every student that focuses on botany, biology, and geography with hands-on experience. In the last decade, hundreds of American elementary, middle, and high schools now have weekly nature classes for this purpose, and they seem to be working well. Although the causes of disconnecting with nature are city life, leading to health problems, solutions are available in public education. Communities must consider standardizing students' regular interactions with their natural surroundings. Ultimately, this leads to a global utopian society. Okay, now it's about 304 words. I took out a few more. That is about the right number. That's your Band 8 to Band 9 essay for that question. Okay. All right, students, I see that you have a lot of responses in writing. It's lovely, lovely to see. So Domenico, Lois, a lot of great writing. Ghazi, good work. Send me your essays for a free mark. So you can send your essays to my email address for a free band score estimate, everybody, and some feedback. Okay, Ghazi, thanks for that super chat donation. It's lovely. Send your essays to Adrian at aehelp.com or admin at aehelp.com. Okay. For everybody watching, if you enjoyed this lesson and you want to get all of our lesson videos, interactive course, practice exams, app for your phones, go to aehelp.com, join the premium version, or gieltshelp.com, join the premium versions there, and begin learning for success. Our academic website looks like this. Click that big red button that's just right kind of behind my head there. And for the general IELTS students, it's gieltshelp.com, and you want to click that big red button there. We help thousands and thousands of students every month to succeed on their IELTS exam, so these are the right places to find the materials to guide you in an expert and professional way. Students, I'm back in 30 minutes with an interesting reading passage about currencies historically and around the world. So join me for that. That's going to be here on YouTube as well, and we will be interacting through our website and perhaps through Zoom with our viewers, getting you to read, interpret, and answer questions along with me. So hopefully I will see you for that reading class in 30 minutes. Thank you so much for being here with me today, and I hope to see you soon. I'm Adrian, signing out from Victoria, and I will be back in half an hour.